Let's talk about Thomas Castellanos just a little bit. If he was somebody asked me this the other day, and I thought it was a good question. If he was the starting quarterback and you don't change anything else about last year, no injuries, no poor performance, good performance from anybody. If he was the starting quarterback, how many more games does Florida State win?
I mean, I think you beat Georgia Tech because you were actually pretty close against to them anyways. You beat Memphis. Yeah, I mean, so a baseline of like probably two-ish.
Duke? You maybe beat Duke too?
You beat Duke. I mean, part of just the fatal flaw of last year's roster, other than some of the maturity stuff and buyout, which like we can't quantify, but like that was a thing, was the way it was constructed around the idea of you have a good offensive line, veteran offensive line, and you have DJ Uiagalelei who needed good protection to be successful, but you put a bunch of speed around him at wide receiver. You're going to have a good run game, and it was going to be a play action based shot offense. And as soon as that ingredient with offensive line ended up being not just not good, maybe the worst offensive line in Power Four recent history in the last day. It was statistically a worse offensive line, I think, than any of the Willie Taggart teams in the end of the Jimbo Fisher era. Like it was not good. And then two, DJ Ongale not being able to run to the extent and having that knee brace that he just was nothing as a runner. He gave you zero there. So as soon as those two things happened, man, all bets were off. So I think with Tommy Castellanos, he would obviously have negated a lot of that. What's he's been? He's been like a 500 quarterback at BC. So like, yeah, I think a couple more wins just to kind of get you to functional. Two and a half wins is what he'd be worth. Just it seems crazy. It seems like a lot of wins to put on, but just the offense was so bad last year that any sort of like semblance of functional would have bought you, layup wins against a G5 opponent or a Duke team that just couldn't move the ball at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I even thought like, I don't know that I would really predict this, but man, the Miami game was, the defense played really well, in that. And I'm not saying they win that, but the Florida game,
I think teams started. The defense did play well. I think offenses just packed it in because they're like, oh,
knowing we couldn't
if we
score.
don't have a bunch of turnovers, then we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And so that's why they didn't get blown out in some of these games, other than Notre Dame, is because like teams were just new. Like, oh, once we get to 17 points, like chill,
They
take
can't
their
get
out of the
there.
ball. Yeah.
Right. All right, big news. I'll get right back to the video, but my FSU podcast, Double Fries No Slaw, is partnering with T1RX, a supplement and health company, to give away 2 free tickets to the Alabama FSU game on August 30th. Now, no purchase is necessary to win, and all you have to do is enter your name, phone number, and email so that we can reach out to the winner. I've put a link down in the description. It's below as well. www.t1rx.com/pages/FSU Bama Ticks. TIX. With it, you'll also get 2 free passes into the Double Fries No Slaw tailgate where you can eat and drink until your heart is content, all while in the shade during that August Florida heat. Go enter to win today. No purchase necessary, and we will see you out of the tailgate. You mentioned the offensive line, the run game. Again, I know a lot of our, Florida State is, to me, the toughest team to project in 2025. You kind of know what you're going to get out of a lot of different teams. But they are incredibly tough to project because of the swings of the last 2 years. But offensive line, 5 new starters. I mean, Leonard was there, but 5 guys that have never played together before.
Yeah.
Running game, Cromwell's coming in. Again, you're projecting a true freshman there, or trying to, and what his timeline looks like. Like Dalvin didn't even take over until, that Louisville game.
It may not have if Mario Pender didn't get hurt. I think it was against.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
And you had Carlos in there. Yeah, so you had some other guys, that you were halfway confident in. But I do, I mean, it's hard to be much worse, but how big of a jump can that offensive line and running game take in this season?
Part of the reason why I have some optimism. So multiple things here. One is like Gus Malzahn doesn't really put up bad offensive numbers. Like that just doesn't really exist on his resume. So again, we learned last year, never say never, be okay saying I don't know. but history would say most likely you'll have a functional offense under him, and more so, you'll have a functional run game under him. They bring in Tommy Castellanos, who 2 years ago had over 1,000 yards rushing. I think it was like 1,100, which would make him like an all ACC caliber running back if he played running back. What that does, though, if you have a whole offense built around it and a whole offseason to tailor to it, and like BC in 2023, I thought did a nice job building their offense around him, but he didn't start the year as a starter. They had to kind of adjust to that. And so this you have a full offseason of that. And plus Gus and Tommy have worked together before. And so that, like, lo and behold, like it by itself, like makes me feel like it should be competent. You have a running quarterback who's going to take pressure off of the running backs and the offensive line, something Jordan Travis earlier in his career did really well. And you have an offensive coordinator who usually has found ways to be successful moving the ball on the ground. The offensive line does have 5 new starters. Yeah, I'm not like in love with any one of them as a like a draft prospect, but all 5 that the 4 they brought in plus Richie Leonard and when they brought him in 2 years ago have like quality snaps to them. Again, learned from prior years, like experience and like PFF grades doesn't mean everything. But sorry, my computer paused real quick. But like I think there is something to having Micah Pettis, who started 3 seasons in the SEC. Luke Pettibon, we've heard really good things about, and he's got multiple years of starting experience in the ACC. Gunnar Holcomb, 3 years of starting experience in the SEC. Like, so I think that all means something. To where, to your point, it can't be worse. Like statistically, it really can't be worse. It'd be really, really hard to. They had some players averaging like 0.03 yards before contact last season, so they're basically just averaging getting hit at the line of scrimmage. Um, it should be better. I think if Usman Chroma is as freaky as they're saying, is as college ready as you're saying, the combination of the way the offense is built with Tommy running point there, being an option threat, and if he's healthy, like I think the run game could be, dare I say, good. I think that exists to be like a top 30-ish run game this season.
How, speaking on him running, and then we'll move off of Castellanos for a little bit, but how would you manage his rushing attempts? Would you, I mean, do you go for broke in the big 4 games and try and limit him in other games? Do you take your losses in some of the big games and
I mean,
make sure you win the other ones? Do you just run him all 12 games? Like what, obviously Kent State and East Texas A&M, maybe you don't have to go as crazy, and, Wake would be another one. But like, how much are you really trying to like put him out there? Because past him, you could be back into last year's situation if he goes down.
Yeah, I'm looking to see how many times he ran the ball in 2023. I mean, 215 times.
Gosh.
And he averaged 5 point.
Line there.
I mean, I feel like that seems like a lot. This past season, he only ran it 93 times. So there's probably an area in between that. Which 93 times, is pretty good for a quarterback. The big difference is like he only averaged 2 yards a carry this past season.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was fully healthy last year. And he's talked about a lot of things this offseason, but he's talked about that. I mean, you brought him in to run, man. Like that. That's why he's here is to run. Like this, they're not making any. I don't think it's a state secret like that. They want to run the football. You didn't bring him in to drop back 500 times in this season. So like, there's things you'll do to try to protect him some. But like even the idea is like that he's fragile. It's like, okay, he wasn't 100% last season. Like his athleticism, like stuff was still like some of his metrics there was still pretty good. The year before was obviously more prolific, but point being is like, I mean, I wouldn't. You can't play football scared. Like you got to try to get what you can get while you can get it. And if the defense is showing they're not going to respect him as a runner, they're cheating in the run, you got to let him like rip, man. You got to, because that's why you brought him in.
Thoughts on the comments towards Alabama?
I'm fine with like, talk your. Can I swear on this or probably not? Talk your, what. Is what I would say. I don't care about that. Doesn't affect the game. Like, I get it. Like, a huge currency in fandom is. And I was talking to Trey about this on the Rollcast recently. Was like, who cares if if someone talks crap about you, like about your team, like just whatever, like you don't have to let that impact you if you don't want to. He's like, no man, when I was at an airport wearing Florida State stuff, like, and they were bad this past season, it was brutal, like people making fun of me. It's like, okay, maybe think of it a little differently. It's like if you're getting hounded and you can't like be prideful of a thing that you love, I get it. So people are going to make fun of FSU if they lose to Alabama. They're going to make fun of those comments if they lose to Alabama. They're going to make fun of about Florida State if they lost to Alabama, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't think that changes
Tuesday
it.
will get here, and we'll be on to the next week.
That's what, I don't care about that because that's who he is. Like, I'm not surprised that all the things, that wasn't the only thing Tommy said. I'm not surprised that he thought any of those things. I'm a little surprised that he said them all in one straight interview. Like, shout out to Nakos for getting someone that relaxed and open to discuss it. The one thing that I didn't like about the interview, man, honestly, was just him kind of sort of rolling former BC teammates under the bus. That I was like, I don't love that because I once heard from a former boss, like they were my current boss. They were like, at a job interview, don't ever say anything about your former employer or the employer you're at currently because that'll let the potential new one know you might do the same to them.
Sure.
One day. And that's just always stuck with me. That was earlier in my career. And so, that's the one thing I didn't love. Like, those are supposed to be your dudes that you went to battle with on the football field. And that's the one thing I didn't care for. Everything else I was fine with.